Hello, my name's Kevin. This is Dirty 20 Gaming, and this time I'm going to talk about what makes players great. Good players play their characters well. They add personalities and then they play true to those personalities, even when things go poorly because of that for themselves and their party. They play their characters, not their stats. At least in my opinion, that's a good thing. They role play willingly. They get into scenes that you offer them as a DM and they start scenes themselves. They know how to share the stage. They know when it's somebody else's turn to have a go. And on and on and on. It's a really long list of what it takes to just be a good role player. But there's another step that can take you from being a good player to being a great player. It's actually more of a list of things that you can do rather than a step. The thing with this list is it isn't really about being a better role player or even about being a better storyteller. Although you'll hopefully find that it helps there too, it's really more about the choices that you make while you're sitting at the table. Whether that table is real or virtual doesn't really matter. So let's get into it and see if I can explain this. As always, this list is not intended to be complete or authoritative. Please add your ideas in the comments below. And while we're on the subject and while you're down there, there is a like button and a subscribe button if you'd like to press those. I'd really appreciate the heck out of that. Let's move on. The first thing is, for me, is engagement. The word I use a lot. And there's an obvious part of this. Engage with the other characters. Have your character engage with them. Have your character start scenes with other characters without the GM having to push you to do so. If you're invited into a scene, get into it and play it for all it's worth. Don't just try and get out of it and get to your scene. That's the obvious one. There's also a not so obvious engagement one here, and that's to engage with the other players as human beings. I mean, they're your friends, so talk to them before and after the game. You're not just there to play, you're there to enjoy the company of your friends. So make sure you do that too. You're not just there to kill monsters. Connected to that, but not quite the same, is support. And just like the first one, this also has two parts. As your character, be supportive. Draw out those less bold characters. Make a scene that makes them the hero. Tell the character, in character, have your character tell their character that they did a great job. Pretty obvious. But do the same thing sitting around the table, too. Say to somebody, nice scene. Great idea. Thank you for bringing that to the table. It makes a difference. What also makes a difference is knowing when to be serious and when to joke. This one's not easy for me because I am really tempted to always go for the joke. But the truth of the matter is, if you're role playing a difficult scene, assuming that you're intending to do it seriously. Pay it the attention it deserves and be your character and play that scene. Make the fart jokes later when the party's in the tavern, is what I'm saying. Know when to joke and know when to be serious. And the last sort of general grouping I want to talk about is, I called it game knowledge. This, I think, is probably easier for players who have been DMs or GMs or narrators or whatever it is you want to call it. But as a player, you can do a lot to keep the story moving, to keep the game moving forward. The extreme level of this is don't derail the story. Yes, it can be fun, and sure, sometimes it's the way to go. But you're probably going to have a better time in the long run if you stick to the plot as written. So have your fun, have your bar fights and all that stuff. That's not derailing the story. But don't leave the city halfway through the adventure. Don't take up another cause. Don't switch sides unless it's appropriate. In other words, don't derail the story. So that's my 4 bits of information. That's all I wanted to mention about these. I know that there are many, many more that make good players great. And I would really appreciate it if you would add your ideas in the comments down underneath here. And as I said before, click that like and subscribe button if I have inspired you to do so. Now, having said all of that, as always, until next time, whatever game you're playing, game creatively. Bye.